and we are off and running. Good evening. This is Friday Night Rights, and you know me. I am Brian Scala, and the lady to my right on the screen. I don't know where your screen is situated, Lauren, but
It's on the bottom.
it's on the bottom. Well, it's over here for me, and that this is Lauren Logan, our special guest for the evening. Lauren, how are you?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing okay. Yep. It is just myself tonight. Sam is has there's some bad weather in the area, so she's taking care of doing family stuff, and Evie is not feeling well as well. So, and tomorrow I'm going on a plane to Florida. That's
Oh, good luck with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
God.
it's like I was gonna tell I saw something about another plane incident the other day and started telling my wife, and she was like, "Yeah, I don't want to know about it," because I guess she's
Yeah. At this point, I don't even want to know. It's like there was the one that what an American Airlines thing that caught on fire, and I was like, I'm done. I'm done.
yeah,
I don't even want to know anymore.
I know it's. I mean, I suppose statistically speaking, it's still the safest way to travel, but it's still scary. But in any event,
Yeah.
yes,
I'd like to see the new statistics on that.
yes, I too. So, but yeah, so thank you very much for joining us this evening, and
Sure.
just usually we do our our introductions, but everybody everybody pretty much knows me by now. I'm Brian Scala. I write Sports by Second Chances, Eddie the Legend's an award-winning book. I have Core Memories. I have Being Made, and that's that pretty much covers me for now. But the real star of the show, and by the way, that blue hair is magnificent.
Thank you.
Yes, I know you have a thing with hair. You're pretty much you have a background as a stylist. Uh,
Yes. So, I was a hairstylist I was only a hairstylist for about a year and a half, but I had done hair my whole life, just not officially. I'd like done friends and family and stuff, but no, I was a hairdresser for a year and a half, and in that time, I went from just right out of school to I had a full clientele within just like a month or two, which is not very common. And then I went on to be nominated for a Top 100 award for Behind the Chair. Behind the Chair is a big magazine for beauty, the industry, or whatever. And it's, I think at the time it was the biggest award show or award ceremony or whatever for hair. So it's a global award, and it was like between like 40 different countries or something like that. And there was like 500,000 entries total. I think I was up against in my category like 20,000 people or something like that. And I still
wow.
got a top 100 nomination. So it was a big deal. It wasn't just a regular run of the mill, oh, I got an award. It was like a, local thing. No, it was a big deal. And I had to travel down to Austin and everything. And it was just, it was really cool.
Wow, that is something. Yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up disabled before I could finish any more of my career. I was actually just, I became disabled before I was able to even accept the award. So I had to, by the time I got nominated, I had like, it was already winding down and it already stopped. And then I just became way too disabled and I could not do it at all by the time I got the award. So, um, yeah, I got to go out with a bang. So,
Yeah, I'm we're gonna get into that too. I want to kind of touch on that in a little bit, and but right now you are an author of sci-fi with a little spice and a little romance, and it's you have two books
and a
out,
little bit of horror.
a little bit of
Yeah.
horror,
Yeah.
yes.
Two books. Yeah. Two books out right now. And I have, okay. I can't just write one book at a time. There's no way. I don't know why I can't. I have, let's see, 390,000 words being edited right now
Wow.
in two different books. So
Okay.
I finished the Recitere series, and that third book has I think 280 something thousand words in it, and then 84 or something. And then Demisha, it's a spin-off or it's a replacement for the Recitere series to get you into like the standalones. and to
Oh,
understand. Like you can understand the standalones just by themselves or whatever, but I also wanted them to be kind of interconnected as well. But Recitere, the first three books of Recitere are all a continuation story. So that's all about my first characters, Jail and Oz, and then all their friends.
well,
And then the second book, Domitia, that's going to come out this year. It's supposed to come out soon. Like it's with the editor right now. I think she last time I talked to her like last week, she was already on chapter 14. So she's really quick and she'll be getting Recitere 3, which is called Janice. She'll be getting that back because I've finished uploading all those edits and I had to do that by hand. She's a teacher.
oh,
She taught AP English, and she was one of those AP English teachers where if you could even pass her class, you were going to do really good in college English.
hmm,
So she's very, very difficult to pass her class in high school, and she's a very good teacher. But I was lucky enough to get her as an editor because my mom is a teacher, and she was a teacher in Denton forever, and so my mom knows just tons of people in Denton that have these English backgrounds, and so I kind of have like an unlimited supply of of good editors that are retired teachers. It's great. But this one
nice.
in particular, her parents owned a publishing imprint. So she's really good
Hmm.
and kind of blew me away. My first editor was amazing. I mean, she was worth every penny, but this new editor, Beth, she's something completely different. She just blows me away. She even gives me like homework and
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, she's very, very good and she's very thorough and she just really gets me to think about the work that I'm doing and kind of get a little bit deeper into it and to add extra layers and
Hmm.
yeah, I really enjoy the way that she edits books. So
Yeah, that is the mark of a great editor. That makes you want to enhance your stories, not try to pick it
yes.
apart.
So I even had her re-edit the first two books that are already out. So eventually I'm going to go through and I'm going to re-upload those and fix those where like with her edits to get them to kind of flow with the third book. So that's going to go back to her. The third book is going back to her, which is Janice. And that's 284,000, 85,000 words or something like that. And then Demisha is 107, 106,
Yeah.
107,000 words. And so those are being edited back to back. And I wrote those all last year. Well, no. Okay. Janice, I finished before, oh God, that was in 2024. Before the end of 2024, I finished Janice. And
Uh-huh.
then I finished Domitia. It was sometime in the summer. And then it took me a while to get those like really edited. So like author edits.
Right.
I go through my books like probably 10 times. I'm really picky in making sure that like everything
Hmm.
is perfect. And I'm a squirrel, so I miss stuff a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I
And so anyway, yeah, and then I've got two new projects after that. I'm calling them my butterfly books. It's gonna be okay, what was the first one? I've already forgotten the names. It's terrible to my own books. I Spy a Butterfly is the first one, and then How to Tame a Raven is the second one. So the
oh
first one is gonna be my Cornubus characters and a butterfly character, and then the second one is going to be a raven person and another two butterfly characters for that. But yeah, so I've got the vampires in Demisha. So I'm trying to like do with sci-fi what a lot of people have done with fantasy.
yeah. I was gonna
So
say
I want
that's
to have like a whole
definitely fantasy
plethora
adventure.
yeah, of different characters, and I want it to be kind of like a really interconnected world where it's like I grew up with Star Trek.
Yep.
I'm a Star Trek nerd. I'm a huge Star Trek nerd. I have probably seen every episode ever besides like newest Discovery episodes that have come out. Like I even watched the new stuff on Paramount Plus. Like I love Star Trek. Star Trek is
Right.
my thing. Aside from there's like some very, very problematic things about Star Trek that I have an issue with, but um for the most part, gay space communism is definitely my jam.
Nice. Yeah. That sounds interesting. And 285,000 words. That's. I mean, I can't even fathom. Like, my I I wrote 100,000 words with my first book, and the words have gone steadily down steadily as I've gone along.
Well, okay, I just okay, I have a really, really vivid imagination that I kept. I know a lot of people lose that when they're a kid, but mine just kept going and I never lost any of it. Like I will be bored and just imagine my room is a hobbit hole. And I can like I see it all. I mean, it's very vivid and I mean like I can smell the grass and like all this I can like I don't know, it's just it's extremely vivid and so and my kids and my husband know that when I'm writing, I get so into that world that they can like be talking to me and like waving and I'm
You're
so
gone.
out of it and I'm so zoned in on it that like I can't like I don't even know anybody's there.
Yeah,
So
that's yeah.
yeah.
I think as I get older, my attention span gets a little bit more out of whack. I need like total silence, no music, no anything. It's just I need to focus, and that's been my biggest problem the last couple of years.
Yeah. So, I have like 9 million things happening in my brain all at once, and so I like to play really loud music while I'm writing. I don't know why that helps, but the music does help. But I think it might be have something to do with whenever I was a hairdresser, because the first thing you do when you walk in the door, first thing in the morning as a hairdresser, is you turn on like the most pop and dance music that
Hmm.
you can possibly find
Something to get
because
you going. Yeah,
you're going to be
yeah.
grinding all day. So I mean, I would do like flashbacks. I have a really good friend Liz. She's one of my best friends. I fucking love her to death. Oh, am I supposed to be
Yeah,
like watching cussing?
no, no, you're
Okay.
good. You're good.
Okay.
You
So,
can say fuck shit goddamn on YouTube on
oh,
Discord.
awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Badass. Because I cuss like a sailor. So, yeah, Liz, she's one of my best friends, and I love her to death. And like, she said her daughter wanted highlights, like chunky highlights or whatever for something. I don't remember. And I was like, oh, FaceTime me, let's do this. And then so we video chatted and we video chatted for like 3 hours and I walked her through the whole thing. And like it was like flashbacks to being able, to do hair again. And I don't know, it was so much fun. And her hair turned out amazing. And her daughter loved it so much she didn't even end up putting the red in it. She just kept it blonde. And so anyway, it was a really fun thing to do and it really like brought me back and now talking about it again, I'm just thinking about all those long hours dancing behind the chair trying to stay going while you folded your like 500th packet literally. I would have a head full of foils and they would be like packed so tight that this person would have foils completely covering their whole face and they would just be a nose and it would just be solid all the way back to the back of their head and I mean literally I would go through an entire package of 500 of the foils just doing one person's hair.
That's that is quite a picture. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I mean,
but I'm a squirrel, so I would just blow through it and then once it was finished it looked fantastic and so I would go home and lay on the floor and kind of be a dead body for a little while.
yeah, I know the
But
feeling. I go to work and I come home and I just want to be a dead body on the couch for a little while. I think it's
yeah, yeah. Oh God. And being super ADHD and having that, but I'm super also in very what's the word I'm looking for? Introverted. I am super introverted. So that
you
was
seem
a
quite
lot
the
of
opposite right now.
no, okay. Because we're friends.
Oh, I get it.
I feel comfortable because we're friends. If I didn't know you very well, I would not be able to be comfortable at all, and I would
That's true.
be drinking or, well, no. Okay, so the first time I did a live, I had to drink because that I was just so nervous. But it was Shelly, so it made it easier.
Oh,
Like I
okay.
probably would have been. So if it hadn't have been Shelly, it would have been like Fireball or whiskey or something, like for sure, because it. But it was Shelly, so I could just drink
Yes.
like one beer.
Oh, okay.
so so anyway, yeah. I just get really nervous and I start talking a lot. It's good for interviews.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it keeps it going. Yeah, and so if you know, you mentioned Shelley, tell me if you remember, what would you do if there was a penguin in your freezer? What was your answer to that question?
Oh, I would call the zoo immediately and get it back to the zoo immediately as fast as I could. I think that was what my answer was. I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure that was it because that would like the whole that whole scenario absolutely freaked me out. I was like, if I found a living creature that is not supposed to be in Texas in my freaking freezer, I would have a heart attack and call the zoo and be
Mm,
like, oh my god, come get this thing right away. I
yeah,
would be panicking.
yeah. When I was growing up, well, actually in college, I had a friend who lived in Texas, in Austin, and I used to talk about the show King of the Hill a lot, and she said, you would be surprised that all the stuff that they do that seems outlandish. People actually do that shit down here. It's crazy. Like,
No, that show is very accurate. Actually, there's in my hometown, Denton. Whenever I go to the bank, there's a fence, somebody's fence, and it has the King of the Hill characters like
nice.
life size on the
Oh,
fence.
that's awesome.
So, um, and I'm not gonna lie, I did, I do have a son named Bobby, and I'm not gonna lie, I do very much
Mm.
enjoy saying "damn it, Bobby."
Damn it, Bobby! How many times have I told you? What in the hell?
Terrible.
I know.
We've shown him some of the safer episodes of the show. He heard him say "damn it, Bobby," and he was like, "Is that why you say that?"
Oh man.
Oh, it's
Mm.
terrible.
My mother,
Okay.
my mother tried to nickname me Bubba when I was growing up because there was there was a remake of In the Heat of the Night that they made it into a TV series, and there was a character named Bubba that she kind of, there's like the big muscly guy, and she's like,
Yeah.
Brian needs a nickname. All of your cousins have nicknames. I didn't have one, and she's like, you're Bubba, and I'm like, no, I'm not Bubba. Like she tried for like a year to.
I know.
And I was like, I
That's
just
great.
flat out like, nope, I'm not. She just called me Bubba, Bubba. Like, no. And now even
That's
with
not
my
an organic
with my wife's
name for
family
you.
now my wife has a brother named Brian. So
Yeah.
to my in-laws, I am OB for other Brian.
Other.
I Yeah. So I'm not
I thought
Brian.
you were gonna say a Star Wars reference.
Oh, like Obi-Wan Kenobi. No,
Yeah.
no, no. Like the letters OB. Like,
Yeah, I get it. That's cool.
yeah. So um, no,
Oh yeah, and by the way, I didn't look at any of the interview
oh,
questions. I
that's
completely
okay.
forgot to look at anything. I like was thinking about that on the way. I was like, listen, I'm going to be late and I didn't do my homework.
Oh, that's okay. We can kind of
Yep.
gloss over, we don't have to go,
Story
word
of my
for word
life.
here. Yeah, we can, I can tell this is going to be, this is not going to be like question one, this question two. That, well, but, you know,
Yeah. A boring ass interview.
so, but growing up, I mean, did you always know you wanted to be a writer or what
Oh
was your,
no. So when I was young, I think the first book series I ever like binged or whatever was the Laura Ingalls Wilder books.
uh-huh,
I was obsessed with those, and like just because it was like they got into so much of the description of it was kind of, so I feel like those books were more of like a screenplay kind of written than an actual like
gotcha.
book with lots of descriptors and stuff like that, as far as I remember anyway. It was pretty much a easier read, so that's kind of what I wanted to do with mine, because I remember just flying through those books and just eating them up. And then I remember getting into some of the other books that like, so me as an ADHD person, I have terrible reading comprehension, and like
Oh,
I'm just awful, and I will mess up words, and I will think a word is one thing and it's completely different, and I will type the wrong word when I'm writing and all kinds of stuff. But that series really like stuck in my head. And then I don't remember what series it was more recently that like in the last few years that I read that made me think, "Oh hell, I could do this." Because whenever I was a kid, there was this one time, the only time I ever wrote a story as a kid, I was in 4th grade, and I had always been a terrible student, and like honestly, I thought I was kind of stupid. I'm not gonna lie. I really thought I was kind of stupid just because I wasn't very good at school. And then I wasn't worried about it, but I just thought, wasn't that bright, whatever. And so I just remember I had this teacher that was like, she just guided me so well and like creating this idea for this story. And we have the standardized testing down here, and I had to write a story for the
Mm.
standardized testing, and it was something about like a fish that goes to four corners of the world or earth or something, or four seas, or like write a story that says that like describes it in a certain way that like it's on a map or something like that. I forget how they give you the prompt, but I just
Okay.
remember it was where I wrote this big story about this fish that went to all these different oceans in the sea, and I just remember thinking of it as the map, and then like in my head drawing
Hmm.
out the journey of the fish and like who he meets and what kind of fish and stuff, just from what I remember from like going to the zoo and like watching the nature programs and stuff. And I was one of only like three people in the class to get a what would be considered a perfect score
Oh.
on the writing, and that was fourth grade. So I have
Oh.
something in my eye. I'm
Oh
so
no,
sorry.
you're fine. Yeah, I actually have something in my eye too. We're
Probably
we're,
like
we're twins.
9 million pounds of makeup. Oh, I have a mirror right here. I can like get it out of my eye.
I understand. Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
I feel like it's a giant cat hair or something.
it's
Oh
fu-
God, you have cats too. You understand? Oh my
Yes,
God,
yes. I have
cats
two
are the
two
cats are the.
mostly white with black, and I get cat hair on everything. And I
Oh, I have a super fluffy girl. I don't know.
oh
You've seen the pictures. I think I've posted on my Facebook and stuff. But she's super fluffy, and I dropped her off at grandma's tonight
oh
with my kids. So I dropped all three of my children off at
oh
grandma's.
okay. Because you needed peace
It's
and
like,
quiet for a little while.
no, I miss her. I want her back.
Oh, oh. Well, so last week, Katie from Cheap Smut, her dog kept interrupting her while we were talking, but it was cool. Like,
Oh,
like
that's
she wanted
cute.
she wanted to be part of the show.
That's so
Yeah,
cute.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, my cats usually they hang out downstairs when I'm up here, except Buffett. Some will come up when he's hungry.
Yeah.
But
So I haven't had a cat in years, and having a kitten now is it's so weird. I remember the only thing I remember from having a cat before was cat hairs getting stuck under my makeup. So I'll do my makeup and I'll like get it all finished, and I'll be driving
oh
down the road and I'll feel this like something
oh
like right here, and I'm like, what is it? And then like I'll be touching on it, and I'm like, what is it? And I can't find it, and it is so itchy. And so like I'll have to like pull over, and I'll peel off one teeny tiny little cat hair, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me that
yeah.
it was
I
only a
I
teeny tiny thing
Believe
that
it
was
or
driving
not,
me crazy.
I know the feeling. Also, like sometimes I'll shave, and then like if I rub my face or whatever, I feel like this teeniest, tiniest little bump.
Oh God,
Like
something like
it's
right,
like
yeah.
it's just like one or two hairs that I missed, or I got like like this much, and it's like I
Yeah.
literally I had a pair of tweezers and a little mirror in my desk at work. Like sometimes I just like like no no like it just I get like
Oh
OCD-ish
yeah,
like
it
that.
drives
Like
me
I
crazy.
have to
Okay,
pluck it while
so
I'm at my desk.
I have a funny shaving story because yes, I have to shave my face.
Okay.
I was I was shaving away, and I had only gotten like the top half done, all the hair removal, and my kid comes in and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm shaving my face. Leave me alone." And he like looks
Uh-oh.
and he's like, "Oh yeah, mom, you have a beard.
Oh shit.
Go away."
Oh yeah. Of
Go
course that they have to
away.
do that. They have to say that shit.
I was like, "Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Get out."
Oh
I was like, "That's why I
yeah.
shaved my face."
Yeah, no,
Anyway.
my wife does that too, and it's like it's like every other day, and it. I mean,
Yeah.
I
If I do my makeup, I cannot do I literally will have like I will have so many whiskers started that like you can like see them in the sun. And so like if I go out, I will like I'll look at myself in the bathroom mirror and see shining whiskers on my chin, and I'm like, no, absolutely not. So And then I have a full mustache that comes in. But the weirdest thing is it's all clear because I'm a redhead. Like my hair
Mm-hmm.
is completely clear.
Huh.
All my facial hair is clear, but when the sun hits it, it sparkles.
Oh yeah.
And you
You're
can
like one of the
see
Cullen
all of the hair on
vampires.
my face.
Yeah.
So there is no bleaching it or anything. It's already clear.
Mm.
It's not cool
See,
at
like
all. I have to get rid of it.
when my
Anyway.
hair grows in, it's like I got everything but the lip hair. You know, like it gets like it's my lip hair is really very light or non-existent. So I get like the
Hmm.
Abe Lincoln thing if I don't shave after like 3 or 4 days.
Oh yeah, my husband's Scottish, so
Yeah.
he did not have color on his mustache for like until he was in his 30s, and by that time his beard was going gray.
Yeah, in the past couple of years, mine has, I've gotten gray patches, everywhere. It's like
Yep.
I'm the silver fox now.
Yeah, I'm 40, and so I don't. You can't see it because I just recently got my roots done, but I'm very gray. The RA, because of the RA pain and stuff, I went
Hmm.
prematurely gray. Because I checked my genetics. 'Cause I do that with everything.
Uh huh.
I went and did my genetics or whatever, and then I just run it through this health program that shows me all these different like the different DNA codes or whatever that go along with like whatever science has come out, like scientific studies have come out or whatever. And that's actually how I diagnosed myself. And my doctor thinks I'm
Hmm.
crazy. But anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I want to
I
get into
wasn't
that
supposed to be
actually.
gray until much later.
Yeah, I want to get into that, and I'm sorry Evie couldn't be here tonight because I wanted you and her to kind of compare stories. So I know her
Yeah,
issues.
because I found out. Okay, so I had always been on the hunt for my ethnicity, and I could not figure out what my ethnicity is. And because even my DNA came back, and it's like, oh, you have very dark hair and dark eyes, and I'm like, and dark skin, and I'm like,
What?
where? I'm a freaking redhead. So what happened is I actually am supposed to have extremely dark hair. I every once in a while, and it always happens like right over here somewhere. I have this like really coarse jet black couple of hairs that will come in over here, and they are like midnight black.
Uh
They
huh.
are dark, dark, dark,
Yeah.
and they are the darkest hair gets. And a couple over here will come in, and I it's just the weirdest. I thought it was the weirdest thing, and then I have a friend in high school who's Middle Eastern, and she's like, "You look like all my cousins." So we just know you've got Iranian in you somewhere because she's from Iran, and
Huh.
so I got my DNA test back, and sure enough, I am like, let's see, I am like 25% Mediterranean, like Mediterranean and like North African or whatever, and then I am 25% Roma. So, but the 25% part of my Roma ancestry is comes from my grandma. She's Roma, and her DNA was like, so that portion is like North African, a little bit of North African, and then she has mostly Middle Eastern, which it's a lot of like the biggest chunks were I think Saudi Arabian and Iranian, and then after that it was like I think like 14 or 15% Middle Eastern, and then after that it was like 3 or 4% South Asian, which is Indian, and then like 3 or 4% East Asian.
Hmm.
So I'm not real
Yeah.
sure exactly where in East Asia. It did just
Yeah.
put like the dot over China, but yeah. And then the other half is just plain old white from you know
Yeah. Yeah, I
like
think
Irish and
I'm,
English and all that.
I'm a whole bunch of things. My one side of my family, my father's side is Norwegian and Italian, and then we thought for my mother's side is French, German, and we thought it was Russian and Czech or like we thought it was Hungarian or it is Hungarian, but because like my great grandmother, her name was Hruban, like Hruban, but then
Yeah.
we found some sort of documentation when she came over to the United States back in during the World War I, and her name they figured out her name was shortened from Hrubanovsky.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. So I was digging through after I did my DNA test or whatever, and I put in my biological mother's name because I was adopted, and that was part of the reason why I didn't know anything. And my biological mother, when I met her, her mother, my grandmother, had already passed away, and so I didn't get to meet her. But she didn't know that her mom was Roma
Hmm.
because she kept saying, "Oh, my mom's from Czechoslovakia." But her mom was very dark skinned, like very, very dark skinned. And I'm like,
Hmm.
Czech people are white. White, 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 white. Gray and white. So I did some major digging, and that's where I finally figured it out. And for a long time, I just thought she was Middle Eastern because I didn't understand the genetic combination of the being Middle Eastern and South Asian. Because the Roma people went from the Punjabi area up toward the Middle East, and then they settled down in the Romania area, and after that or whatever, and then they were enslaved by the Romanians for like 500 years or something like that. And then after that, they were freed from slavery and killed off in World War II.
Hmm.
So I have no living relatives over there. Just the ones that escaped
Yeah.
after the slavery. They were released from slavery
Yeah.
and they came over to Canada, literally. And that was my ancestors that came straight to Canada. And then it was only a small group of them. And I've dug through tons of genetic programs. I've signed up for everything I could possibly sign up for. And I have come up with exactly 1,000 relatives that are related to me on my biological mother's side of the family, and all of them are my biological grandfather's side, not my grandma's side, the Roma side. And my grandfather, was also an Ashkenazi Jew, so they were trying to escape Europe during all this awful stuff going on, and they did escape. And now that I'm looking back, I don't have any more relatives over there. Like they're all gone. They don't exist anymore because they
Right.
all perished in the Holocaust.
Oh.
So it's just really crazy to think about. I compared the numbers of the amount of people that I am related to, cousins, literal like fourth and fifth cousins that I'm related to, the number of them from just the grandparents, the great grandparents that escaped. I calculated the number of cousins that I have just from them, and I kind of like tried to like ballpark how many relatives I should have had based on the number of people that were over in Europe at the time. And I should have probably 100,000 relatives over there, and I have none.
Yeah.
So
I
that's why I'm really loud on social media about all the awful stuff happening right now. Cause I'm like, y'all
I
don't
know
understand.
it's you
Most
know
people think my ethnicity is a Disney character,
oh
Esmeralda.
I
Like
I know, right?
that's where the whole conversation starts is and then they're like, oh, you're a G word. And I'm like, let's not use that word, please. So yeah, it's always goes like that.
Hmm.
And I just, the more I learn about the things that my people went through, the more what the disease that I have makes sense, because it's a bottleneck disease that happened because of cousins marrying cousins, because nobody's gonna shack up with a slave. You're not gonna have a lot of genetic diversity during the Romanian slavery that the Roma went through. And so you have tons of diseases like glaucoma. My biological mother had glaucoma, and she had to have major
Uh-huh.
surgeries on her eyes to save her eyesight. So we both have pretty bad diseases from that genetic heritage or whatever, that
Yeah.
ethnicity.
Hmm.
So that's why I fight so hard with all this stuff, and it's why I talk about such difficult issues in all my books.
Right.
I discuss lots of stuff, and a lot of Recitere is based on my personal pain, but you know, my pain is because of the 500 freaking years of slavery that my people went through. And I'm just like, I'm not going to be quiet about that. I'm going to be quiet about people who have gone through, similar things in history. It just, no,
Hmm.
absolutely not.
Yeah, it's and it just it bothers me that it's like it in some ways it feels like history repeating itself. I
It
hope
is.
I
It
hope
absolutely
you
is.
know hope it doesn't come to that, but it doesn't look good right now.
Yeah.
I mean, um, I, when did you first figure out that you had RA? Like I think you said it was back in 2020. I think.
So, so earlier than that, I knew that there was something wrong with me for basically my entire life. I thought that I just didn't really work right. Something was, a little off, whatever. I didn't think it was that big a deal. Turns out I have a wild pain tolerance. So,
Hmm.
um, I, when I was a kid, I distinctly remember like waking up in the middle of the night with horrible joint pain.
Oh,
And I remember literally sobbing through every PE. And like thinking back, like I think the whole diagnostic process maybe started in 2018, 2019, but before that I just knew something was kind of wrong. I just didn't know what it was, and I didn't realize that I was as tough as I was, I guess.
hmm.
And it really came to a head honestly when I had my first son. And my father, being a doctor, he, I don't know how to say this without, okay, I should just probably tell you the story real quick since we got time. Um, my first son, his birth was chaos, like chaos. Um, they had to give me medicine to slow it down because, like, we drove 90 to get there on the highway because we live like 45 minutes away from the hospital, and we got there in like 25 minutes. And Um, for real though, I was screaming the whole entire way, like baby was coming. It was crazy. It was
Wow.
like a movie. My husband was like honking at people on the highway,
Oh,
"Ah,
jeez.
bye," and like,
Weaving in and out of crap. Yep.
because my husband has delivered plenty of cows. He does not want to deliver a baby, especially not mine. So, anyway, we get to the hospital, and uh, I like basically had this baby in like an hour and a half. It was insane. And he would have came in an hour um, if they hadn't given me that medicine to slow it all down.
Wow.
So, um,
Your pain
anyway,
tolerance is so high that you didn't even know that you were going into labor, basically.
well, I knew I was in labor, but I was like, they gave me the epidural. Epidural didn't work. I was on all fours on the table, and I didn't hardly even grunt.
Huh.
I was yelling at the nurses and coherent the entire delivery process. And I pushed that baby out in two pushes. And
Huh.
my dad is a doctor, he's delivered thousands of babies. He walked up to me after the baby came out and was like, "I've never seen somebody have a baby like that." He goes, "Did you even feel it?" He goes, "I know that epidural didn't work." He goes, "You're moving." He was like, "That's the craziest thing I've ever seen." And like me, he was just freaking out. And I mean, my doctor, the OB, when the baby was born, he stood up and he was like, "That was amazing." And like, I, I just floored everybody. All the nurses kept going, "Oh, honey, it takes a while," and I'm like, "This is happening." And like, they didn't get it. Like, man, I squeezed that baby out so fast. I just was like, "Pain? What's pain? I'm getting this baby out of me." And like, I mean, I just like, I turned into the Hulk. My poor husband was so terrified.
I don't know what.
Like,
Well, the epidural did something to you. I don't know if it if it took the pain away.
the epidural didn't do anything. The epidural didn't do a damn thing. They completely missed. I didn't do it at all because, like, I should not have. I was like crab walking on the table. I was like up on all fours, like, "Get this baby out of me." And I weighed 200 pounds at the time. I was not. I was like, I was double what I weigh right now, and yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, that's when my dad was like, "So, Lauren, I really thought you had a high pain tolerance, but you have a really high pain tolerance."
Huh.
So, after that, whenever I started to get sick, I was like, "Dad, I don't think you understand. My hands are hurting so bad, I can't even do the dishes." I was like, "They hurt so bad, I can't pick anything up." I was like, "My hair tools," it got to the point where I was dropping a comb that literally weighed less than an ounce. So, I mean, I couldn't hold it into my hands, the grip.
Hmm.
So you can see my hands are deformed. they don't, this is my fist. It does not,
Okay.
they don't, my hands don't close. You know what I
Wow.
mean? And so it hurt like hell when it was when this was deforming, and it still happens. Like they still get really inflamed sometimes. Like my knuckles and stuff will get really bad. But I think I've known that I was sick my whole life, but the first like flare up that I ever had was in hair school before I graduated. So I think that was in like 2019. But I knew that something was wrong with me for sure. I spent a lot of time resting during the day. They would let me sit down and do work on a mannequin or whatever. They basically like really encouraged me to like be calm that entire time and to like totally reset. And I thank the people at that school, those teachers, for helping me get my hair license, because that was probably the hardest few months of my life because I was exhausted and I had to go to school every day. I put my makeup on every single day and I did hair every day. And I
Hmm.
was dying. I was
Wow.
dying. I like now thinking back, I don't know how I did that. Like that it was pure spite of just
Yeah.
wanting
Like,
to
like,
prove that I could do it. I don't know.
yeah.
It was just like I just remember thinking like at one point I remember like the world just like going in and out because I was in so much pain. And I remember I was like cutting hair and like the hair was between my fingers and like the shears were coming toward my fingers. And I was like, oh, I think I need a break. I'm gonna cut my fingers off.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so the
Like
teachers
you're
would
not
just
steady,
brush
huh?
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not steady, and like I couldn't hold anything correctly, and like I mean it was really bad, and those teachers got me through that. And after that flare up, I was able to get back on my feet and start working again. And I had a couple of flare ups during my time behind the chair, but I had my one of my very best friend's wedding that I was supposed to do her hair and makeup. I drove all the way down to Austin, and the weather changed, and because of the temperature change and the distance that we drove and all that, I had a horrible flare up, and it was worse than the one that I had in hair school because I had been stung by a bee or whatever, and it had given me the flare up. But this time it happened just organically, and that's when I had to quit. So
Oh,
yeah, it was like
yeah.
literally a year and a half into my hair career, and that
Yeah.
was all I got.
And you said earlier that you actually diagnosed yourself. Like, how did you get
Yeah.
like a medical
So
second opinion?
my dad's a doctor, and I grew
Oh,
up reading his medical books, and like I kind of like lived at his office, and I like wanted him to take me in the room with him like a med student and like teach me everything. So a lot of his patients used to let me go in the room, and when I was a kid, and he'd bring me in with him, and they would talk about all their problems, and he'd diagnose them, and it was usually like the old people that were just there for their medicines or whatever, and they were like, "Get in," and they were super excited, and it like made them real happy, and so whatever. That was way before all the laws and everything. Like when I was little, and God, 30 years ago. Can't believe I'm saying that. Long time ago. Um, so God, those were the days. And like I just loved learning about medical stuff. And I've just ScienceDaily.com. I don't know if you've ever been on that website. I am addicted to ScienceDaily.com. I could sit on that and read abstracts all day. And then you can go and look up the research and stuff and actually look up the research studies. And I had taken experimental methods. I was a psychology major, and although I wasn't a bachelor's of science, well, okay, I was supposed to be a bachelor's of science, but I had to like settle for a BA because I couldn't pass Spanish or um, algebra. I
so
had a 3.8, and I
yeah,
failed
and
Spanish and algebra every semester.
wow. So, yeah, but I guess that it's funny. So Sam likes to say that she taught math, or she taught English, not math. So it's
Yeah,
you can be like right here, in the English department, and yeah, maybe down here in the math. I mean, you know,
yeah, I was so bad. I would either have, so every semester I would try to take Spanish or I would try to take a math class. So, and I would, because I knew if I took them both at the same time, I was going to fail both of them. And then I would like have a really bad GPA. So every semester I would take either the algebra class or the Spanish class. And if I passed it, I would take the next one, and I'd always end up failing it. So anyway, it was just a disaster. And so I got to the end of it, and I ended up, all I have to do is submit my books to, I think, the archives or whatever, and I can have like an alumni status put on them or something like that, because I went to the school and I produced professional work or something. I forget what the thing is. There's like a thing with UNT, I think. But anyway, I think, don't quote me on that. I think somebody told me that, but I don't know if that's true or not, but we'll see.
Okay.
But anyway, I got all the way finished with my degree, and I didn't graduate. So I took experimental methods that helped kind of solidify my biology mind and whatever, and the scientific methods and all that, and it kind of like brought it all together. And so I learned how to perform studies and stuff like that, and all the different methods, and all the statistics go along with that. And so I really enjoyed doing a lot of research on genetics and all kinds of stuff. I mean, I'm obsessed with that stuff.
Yeah.
And partly because of my disease, but also because I've just been obsessed with I know this is terrible, but I've been obsessed with learning about why eugenics happens, why people tend to always want to select the best and only breed the best humans, which is disgusting. And it repulses me, and I just don't understand why humans seem to always want to do shit like that. And so it's a big theme in my books as well, the erasure of certain groups of people that are either poor or their genetics aren't good enough or whatever it is. It's just like, because there's a difference between erasing someone and who they are and what they are versus curing a disease and helping somebody gain freedom within a treatment, or that sort of thing. But within all those studies, it all came to a head when I had to diagnose myself, because I first got the diagnosis of just fibromyalgia, and I'm like, my fingers are twisted.
Yeah.
It's not fibromyalgia. I'm sorry. Like, my toes they look like they've been in like multiple fights. Like, they're hideous, and like they're so mangled, and like I'm like everything hurt. No, they're like the joint pain that I have, absolutely not. There's got to be something else going on. And so I mean, I get to the point where I am in so much pain, and like I said, I've had a natural childbirth that I squeezed that baby out in like no time. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
And I can't even have my hand on the bed. And so I'm like thinking there's got to be something going on. Like I can't even think with any, like covers can't even touch my hand. So I mean, it was just that bad. And I mean, full on level 10 pain, where I am just like, I just can't breathe, I can't think, I can't sleep, I can't do anything. And just immediate, like, incredible stress. I mean, to the point where my hair was falling out. And I really felt like I was dying. And so I just searched to the ends of the internet, and I found this website. I forget what it's called. It's not Gene EU Genie. I don't remember what it's called. Anyway, I can look it up. But it's this website that you look up. You put your genetics in, and all of these empirical studies that have been peer reviewed come up. So about your genetics that you have. So all of these studies will come up and show all these different genes that you have and what those implications of those genes mean, and what combinations of genes mean what. And like, so I just rabbit holed that crap for like 2 months probably, and prepared a report for my doctor.
Wow. So
and I printed all this out.
You gave your doctor a dissertation about, why you have rheumatoid arthritis.
Yes. I literally wrote him a fucking dissertation. Yes. So or a thesis, or whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
And I printed it all out, and I wrote it all out for him, and I had cited all my resources, and I put it all together, and then I gave him my DNA file, and I told him the website to go to verify everything. And I said, this right here says I have rheumatoid arthritis, but I don't have any of the swelling genes. So I have RA without any of the markers that show that I have the disease.
Huh.
And he diagnosed me on the spot and said, "You're absolutely right. You have seronegative RA. I'm diagnosing you right now." He put me on methotrexate. I was on that for a couple of years. I have just actually recently weaned myself off. I don't know how that's going to go. I don't know if it's going to stick. I don't know if that's going to work out, but we're going to try it. I am working out a lot, and I'm going to see if I can get off of the heavier meds and replace it with extremely high impact workouts. My hands are starting to hurt really bad, so I don't know how long it's going to last.
Yeah.
But
Now,
I'm going to
does the weather does the weather or the pressure in the air, does that have anything to do with, you know?
the pressure is the worst. So, when the pressure changes, I'm horrible. Like I can't even get out of bed. I'm miserable. And I'll feel like shit for days after. So, like, it's not just like when the weather goes through, it's fine after that. No, it like eats up my joints. So basically what's happening is my immune system thinks that my joints are like cancer. So they're like eating them up.
Oh,
But I have seronegative, and my RA basically says all joint tissue is bad. Go get it to my immune system. And so I need my T cells reprogrammed, basically. And
wow.
that's possible. It's called CAR T therapy. They have it over in Europe because of all the fun cuts to the budget in America. We're not going to ever have that
Oof.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need CAR T therapy basically to get back to where my immune system won't attack my body. But it could take, a bee sting and it would just do the damn thing over again. So I would just
Right.
have to, I'd have to just be really careful.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I
It's
diagnosed myself. I just am a dork, and I read a lot of
that is something. Yeah. I
of
mean, I
medicine.
yeah. And I'm glad that you feel well and you're lively, and it's this is I
Yeah. I feel better now, but it's because I get a lot of rest. I eat really well. I'm working out a whole lot. I mean, my joints are hurting really bad today because the weather is crazy,
yeah.
and I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
actually,
how
yeah.
it's gonna go.
Evie said the
But
same thing because she's in Oklahoma, so you're not too far away, actually.
oh, she's in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
badass. See, I'm in North Texas, so.
yep, yeah, yeah. I know where Denton is. Yeah, it's
Oh, you do? Oh, okay.
it's funny. Like I'm a wrestling fan, so I know all about Denton because that's where the Von Erichs were based.
Oh, okay. My grandma was friends with the Von Erichs.
Oh wow,
Yeah, that's really cool. So my mom grew up with the one of the kids or whatever. Like my mom knows them really well, and like,
oh wow, that's cool.
um, yeah, yeah, like they've been over to our house, like, like we know them.
Wow, wow. So
They
yeah,
lived,
well, I
they
think well,
grew up in the same neighborhood.
that is really cool. Like, yeah, I think there's a couple left. Is Kevin Von Erich? I think he
Yeah,
lives in Hawaii now, or I don't know if he still
yeah.
has
I don't think any
property
of
in
them live in
Texas.
this area, but yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. My
that's
nana
really
knew a
something.
bunch of them.
Yeah, so it's funny because like whenever you say Denton, Texas, I immediately think North Texas, Mean Green, Von Erichs. Those are like the two things I
Yeah,
identify with.
yeah.
So I'm switching gears a little bit. Talk about some of your favorite things, like favorite food, favorite candy, favorite seasons. Things of that nature.
Okay. I do not have a favorite Well, okay, maybe favorite candy. I know y'all. I'm probably gonna get murdered for this, but almond joy. I love almond joys. I could
Oh,
eat like a bucket of those. And then, but okay, I'm hypoglycemic though, so the almond joy, for some reason, it doesn't like trigger my hypoglycemia as bad, and so I don't have a crash. That was the other thing. I'm very hypoglycemic, and like I have to eat every couple of hours.
oh, okay.
And I mean, I have to eat a meal every couple of hours, like a meal, not
Wow.
not a snack. This like a
Hmm.
little, one of these little like these little bars.
Yeah,
This is a joke.
that's not
I would have to
breakfast.
have a whole box.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have to have a whole box. So, but I can't eat sugar. So, because my sugars will cause the insulin to dump out, and then I'll be just jittery as hell in a
Yeah.
terrible mood and hangry and all the things. And so,
Ooh.
yeah, I eat a lot of sandwiches. I was talking to who was I talking to the other day about sandwiches? Two people, Amna and Desi.
Oh.
Desi posted a sandwich the other day, and I was like,
Oh
"You're a
yes,
sandwich person too."
because Desi didn't eat. You know, she forgot to eat and she didn't
Forgot
bring
her
her
lunch.
sandwich.
Yeah, I was like, "Sandwich." Yeah, and then of course, as soon as I saw her sandwich, I had to go eat a sandwich. So,
Right.
I don't know. I would say probably my favorite food is a sandwich. Definitely, favorite food is sandwich. Doesn't matter what kind.
Okay.
I love just any kind of sandwich. I love making random things into sandwiches. Um, and then what was the last question?
Oh, it's just
Favorite
like
food, favorite candy, and
like
what?
favorite season.
Oh, favorite season?
Yeah.
Summer for sure.
Nice. So you like the hot weather in Texas in the summertime?
I don't like the hot weather. I just like the summer because you can go to the pool
Ah.
and I can wear shorts. I don't. I hate being cold. I don't
Oh yeah.
necessarily be like being hot, but I just hate being cold. And Texas, it doesn't matter if it's spring or fall. At night, it's cold as shit. And I
Really?
love being able to go outside at night in the summer and it's still warm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm going to Florida to visit my family next week. Actually, well, flying out tomorrow. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. You know, it's I do it every March. You know, because I have spring training down there, and my mother lives in Port St. Lucie where the Mets train. So, and then we're going to Disney after that. So, yeah, I'm a summer person myself. You know, I it's yeah, I can I like shorts, t-shirts. You know, that's my thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, and we are doing a giveaway. You know, for it looks like we don't have as many people in the comments tonight as we usually do, but if you are here, and we're giving away the two paperback copies of
Yeah.
yeah. So if you want those, you can drop the blue heart down in the comments. You know, blue for your hair. So and let me see. So yeah, I was saying you said you're right. Sci-fi. You know, you were inspired. You know, somewhat by Star Trek. You're a Star Trek fan. You're a Star Trek junkie, and your whole family
Yeah.
is into Star Trek.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I love Star Trek. And so what I wanted to do with my so my whole universe is going to be the same universe for all of my books. And it's got kind of like the similar premise on how each one of the alien species came to be. So basically I set up like the planet is going to have the specific type of environment that would facilitate that specific creature being the like dominant creature that would be like the higher level being for that world. And so like one of the planets is like a desert planet. So horny toad people are the dominant species there and they become like this the higher level beings like people or whatever. And then so my universe has all kinds of different aliens that come from different planets that have all these different environments, and all of it is so basically like there's life is pretty consistent throughout the galaxy. You have differences based on environment and differences based on like the star being a different type of star. So your plant life is a little bit different color, or like it's hotter versus colder. So you're gonna have more of desert type of creatures. And then I take from Earth's history as well, and I say, you know, certain planets don't have extinction events, so the creatures on that planet are going to be like more reptilian, so more like dinosaurs that have evolved. And then, like, I really like bugs, and so a lot of people don't like bugs. And part of like the underlying thing with my whole series is that like there's this like discrimination against
ah,
bug people, and my the Recitere is about my scorpion people,
right.
and they are like they were a primitive species or whatever that was becoming more advanced and kind of like whatever. And then they were kind of I don't want to spoil the story, so
Yeah.
they were kind of taken over, and I don't want to ruin it. It's
Yeah. No,
it's good.
it sounds interesting.
It
Yeah.
has
It's
a
like
lot of like surprises and stuff that are really good, and
yeah.
so I don't want to ruin it. But the bad guys are pretty consistent with the type of shit we're seeing, which I kind of like didn't see that coming because all of this was written before 2024.
Yeah. It's
So
yeah.
I really didn't see that coming. I wrote a lot of stuff in that book that is way too relevant now.
Mm.
I'm like, and I did
So,
not mean to do that.
so
I
you're
just
like
thought,
the
oh,
Simpsons. Like the Simpsons predicted
yeah, it's like
everything. Like,
there's no way that this could happen. I just did my research and I'm like trying to project what could possibly happen in a futuristic capitalistic society that has all these different things that are kind of like our society that are terrible that make us the dystopian society. Uh, I just kind of wanted to throw that in there, and then it all became too real too fast.
yeah, um, yeah. The world's on fire, and I don't know how we can put it out.
Yeah,
And
no, it's terrible, but I like the realness that the similarities that keep happening in the stuff that I've written, and I'm like, no, that I'd stop. This was supposed to be diabolical in this book. It wasn't supposed to be really happening. It's crazy.
yeah. So, um, what would you say you enjoy the most about writing, and conversely, what do you enjoy the least?
I my favorite part of writing is, well, I kind of already touched on it. Being able to completely block out the whole world and write, just kind of uh disassociate basically. So
Yeah,
um I can completely shut off the outside world, and that means I don't feel my body. I could be in horrible pain and I'm just typing away and my hands don't hurt because
just block
I
it
am
out.
not sitting at that computer. I'm off on another planet somewhere and I'm running around and my body doesn't hurt. And that's why writing is so important for me, is because it really gives me an escape that I can't get anywhere else. And there's no amount of pain that can keep me from being able to write. Like I even got to where I was in a lot of pain toward the middle of dementia, and I started using just regular old talk to text and dictating it,
Yeah,
and I was able to finish that book in no time. I mean, I was writing like 6,000 words a day. So, um,
yeah. That
and
is
that,
one good thing about technology now. Like, sometimes I'll wake up in the middle
yeah,
of the
and it
night and
just
I'll
it
think of
kept going and
something.
going and going, and like I love being able to write that book specifically because it's that one. Dementia is horror, and it was a really great outlet. Making it really super intense. Recitere was all of like all of my quirky ass science shit um packed into one series. So I put all of my like weird science ideas about all kinds of stuff. Oh, one thing I can talk about
Hmm.
that, like, one of the things that really helps me with writing, and that one of my favorite parts is coming up with futuristic technology. It's based on realistic technology that we have. So you'll love this. Okay. I designed two types of space propulsion engines that are not in sci-fi right now. So I designed the EM drive that Jill in the first book creates that sends her to the alien planet. That's the first engine that I created. So that is a electromagnetic drive. So you take microwaves and you blast them into an enclosed space. Well, not just microwaves, any radiation will work. You blow radiation into an enclosed space and you create thrust with extremely little energy put behind it. So the energy input is not the same as the energy output. So the energy output is like way more, 10,000 times more than the energy input. And you create thrust. In zero G, that thrust would be incredible. You would be able to go transport, probably. That was what spawned that entire idea for that whole book, was me contemplating
Huh.
this type of space propulsion. And so I just was like, oh, what if, what if I was working on this and my lab got struck by lightning and I got transported to an alien planet, and I had written a 4 sentence story with my kid that said all of that. And I was like, you know what? That would be a really good book.
Yeah.
I should
Hey.
write that. And that's how Recitere started. And like, I just, that engine was really cool. It's a real thing. It is an electromagnetic uh drive. There is such thing. I've seen the videos of the propulsion engine. It works. It's a real thing, and it was highly tested. And then all of a sudden, all that stuff disappeared off the internet. You know how they always take all that shit
Oh,
down.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if they just lost the rights to the website or what, but it was gone. And then after that, I was thinking, okay, the bad guys, the ruling empire in my book series needs to have its own type of like maybe black hole engine. And so I was like, okay, I would come up with a different type of propulsion that uses wormholes. And so I came up with this idea where you have a molecular acid that breaks down molecules into their basis, basically creating a collapse. So collapsing molecules on top of themselves. And so it's an acid that does that. And then you have this acid that breaks over a ball of carbon. So you shoot this ball of carbon with this acid out in front of the ship. The singularity starts. It collapses. This teeny ball of carbon collapses and creates a teeny tiny little point of singularity. That is going to produce a radiation from it, a radiation signature, if you will, from it that is a specific frequency. So once that frequency hits the ship registers that frequency, flips it around, and blasts that frequency right back at the singularity at the exact same kind of radiation and frequency. Hits the singularity, and it will blow a hole in space and time where they can travel through. The
That's really
angle at
fascinating.
which they so the angle at which they hit this ball of carbon, the singularity, is the direction where the wormhole will go. The amount of energy that they put behind it is how far they will go.
That's I'm blown away. I
I also like quantum mechanics too.
I know it's like I mean I don't know if I can write even come up with anything like sci-fi
So
like
I
that.
really
It's
like to write. So I love these like really intriguing like ideas and thoughts and stuff, and like different worlds. And I like to really put my all of my marbles in the box of like or all the basket of trying to make my characters like my all my alien characters really exhibit the characteristics and the biology of the things that they were evolved from. I try to use my background in geology. I really love geology too. I used to be obsessed with dinosaurs when I was a kid, and so obviously geology comes along with that. And then, so I like to create my worlds where they're realistic. So in Demisha, my bat world, I was like, I want a lot of caves. I want a lot of really volatile volcanoes and lots of like sulfur pools and stuff like that. I feel like lots of forest, and so I feel like that would facilitate a bat to take over as the dominant species for the planet. Um, and
huh.
so being able to like tie in all my science stuff, like it brings my mind so into the story that I'm able to totally block out the entire world, and it gives me such relief for my pain. And like, so writing is an incredible blessing for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's and you have such an amazing imagination, and it takes you literally to another world. Um, what happens when you're when the characters aren't talking to you and the ideas aren't flowing? Is there a way to you can counteract that?
Um, that doesn't usually happen. I just get distracted with life. That's the only reason why I get behind, is because I just get distracted with life. And then also, like editing is murder.
Oh,
I'm so bad at editing. But I'm also anal as hell, and I like want to edit every detail. I want to make sure that all my science is correct, and like I
yeah.
even I even went through like hours of lecture with my father on how to design a vaccine for a fungal infection. And so my characters in book two, that's like the premise of book two, is that there's also zombies in it. Um, so I really liked and I wrote that book and published it right before that, what is it? The Last of Us came out with with the parasite. No, the fungal parasite that causes them to go turn into zombies. I did that shit at the same time. I was like, that is so bad. I can't believe I did that at the same time. Anyway, um, so but mine is a little bit different. Mine has the so I like the ant zombie fungus, like that has the things that like grow out of their heads and
Uh
stuff.
huh.
So that's the fungus. That's the bat. That's the thing that because my characters are scorpions, so it's gonna affect a bug, and
Hmm.
so they have this like this zombie fungus that goes that goes and they are attacked. It's biological warfare. They're attacked with the zombie fungus. So anyway, it's a good book.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I think you said like you earlier that part of your story was based, loose, a little bit, put a little bit of yourself in your characters, like your experiences and whatnot, just
Yeah, and like okay, so more of I don't really put myself in my characters. I put how I'm
right,
feeling in my
pieces of
characters.
you.
So
Yeah.
like yeah. So like for example, there was this this one incident in book 3 that's about to come out that's pretty terrible and where somebody loses a limb and my editor was like, "What the fuck did you put that in there for? Like what was the point of that?" And I was like,
Oh.
because I wanted to cut my damn hand off. My hand was hurting. Like,
Ah.
so somebody's gonna lose a hand. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's seriously how it kind of goes. So, like, you gotta definitely don't look too deeply into like what happens to my characters in my book because it's just me bitching about
With the volume turned up. Yeah, yeah, like exaggerated, basically. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I mean, what do you do like for your mental health? To recharge. I mean, obviously you have, you know, I mean, with everything going on.
Um, just writing, reading, and writing. So I read a lot and I write a lot. Well, I mean, I'm writing like I write about I can write about 400,000 words a year. So I'm just writing all the time.
Wow. I mean, what do you do when you're not writing? Like, and is there anything kind of hobbies?
I homeschool my yeah, I homeschool my kids and I just hang out with my cat. I'm bedbound a lot. I'm like
Yeah.
boring. I like can't get out of bed, so
Gotcha. Yeah.
that's about it.
I,
So yeah, it's very important that when my friends support my writing because I'm pretty much stuck in bed and it gives me a window to the world and it gives me an outlet to the world and so supporting my writing is a really huge deal.
yeah, absolutely, and it's yeah, yeah. I get that, and it's and I'm yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
I, no,
Just being
I'm
stuck
sorry.
in bed all
I
the time.
apologize. No, I'm just I drew a blank there myself. My wife
No, it's
was
really hard to
texting.
even like consider that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I talk to Evie sometimes, and she's she has a lot of the same things. Where she has trouble even getting out of bed, and it's a lot to even just text and watch K dramas. That's the extent of.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's been multiple times that I've had to call my husband literally like calling him from the next room like so I have to have my own room I can't sleep if somebody like if I was in the bed with either my husband or like well anybody it doesn't matter I can't share a bed with people usually unless I know that they're going to be very very still because if I get
Uh,
kicked I could be in
oh.
pain like for days so I have my own bed my own room because a lot of times I'm stuck in bed and I need it to be quiet. I'm in a lot of pain. So, I mean, I would say I'm in bed 3 to 4 days a week,
Well, yeah,
if not more
that's
than that.
yeah. Well, and that is a lot, and I appreciate you being so open about what you go through every day.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Well, I feel like I have to because there's so many women like, and that's the thing. People with RA, we don't have the energy to advocate for ourselves. I am
That's true.
crazy. I am a crazy bitch. I'll just go ahead and say it. So I'm really loud, and you're gonna, if something's going wrong in my life, you're gonna freaking hear about it. And like, I am just gonna tell everybody, I do not care. And I feel like that's extremely important, especially with RA, because so many of us are so tired and we cannot advocate for ourselves because we're just exhausted, like literally rotting in bed. I don't know if you ever heard about that case of that young girl who she developed what's called locked in syndrome. It's part of the autoimmune spectrum.
Hmm.
And her parents basically let her rot on the couch, and they thought that she was just lazy. So she ended up eating the couch and dying in her own filth because her parents wouldn't do anything to help her.
Wow.
Disabled people, that is a fact of life for so many disabled people. It is so disgusting. And like, if I can change anything because of me speaking out and telling people the facts about what happens to disabled people, I mean, just think the recent fires in California. Who were the people who didn't get out? Disabled
That's
people.
true. Yeah.
They were left behind. They always get left behind. And I know that like people get sick of hearing this, but it all truly just boils down to eugenics. People just they don't care about disabled people. Once you become disabled and you are unable to work in a capitalistic society, you become worthless. So it's a fact of life. And it needs to be brought to the public's attention because I don't think people realize, you know, they just want to cast disabled people off. They don't even want to look at them. They don't
Mm-hmm.
want them in public. I mean, it was a big deal to have disability rights. They weren't established that long ago. I
Right.
mean, disability rights came along with women's rights, and I just, and even after that, and they're always rolling back disabled rights. Like, for example, we have a huge festival in Denton every year, a giant festival. It's multi-day. It is one of the most fun festivals. There's music, there's art. It's one of my favorite things to do in the entire world. But I can't go anymore because there never have disabled spots available. And
Oh.
they will give the available disabled spots to the police department instead of giving them to the disabled community and letting us actually go to the fair. So
That's not
if you
right.
go to that fair, there's not one disabled person in the entire fair.
That is not right. Yeah.
Yeah. And this stuff happens all over the place. Like when I used to use my cane, people will hold the door for me if I'm not using my cane, and they will slam the door on me if I'm using my cane.
What? That
I've had people knock me off the sidewalk for using my cane.
that's
And let me
ridiculous.
tell you, my friends who they didn't know that were with me, I have some very fierce friends. Not happy. So they got an earful, but it happens all the time. Disabled people are just cast off. I mean, they truly are, and it's horrible.
Yeah. I and yeah. Using your voice to speak up. When when possible is really phenomenal of you. Um, other authors that have inspired you, along the way, like this, since you started writing,
Authors that have inspired me.
or people, anybody in general.
Not authors, because the ones that did inspire me, I have since found out that they were problematic as hell. So
Oh, okay, that's funny. I think we mentioned one of those people last week. Yeah,
yeah.
we don't have to name names.
Ugh. Yeah. It just, there were several books that several different series actually um that really like got me back into reading. I'll say one, she's not the worst of the worst, but the what was it? The Four Horsemen series by Laura Thalassa. She's said some interesting things in her books that I didn't really like very much.
Mm.
She has one book where the main character is a female, and it seems like the male character is grooming her in the beginning and she's like underage and it's just like after that book I was like, I don't know. But those four books, like there was some problematic shit in one of them that I didn't catch right away, but I went back and I read about it and I was like a little horrified that I didn't catch those comments. But I also have horrible reading comprehension, so
Yeah.
I think I missed it. But I do have to say, when I first started reading again, those were the books that I read, and it was honestly by accident. I was supposed to read a different Four Horsemen series, um, but I picked up that one on accident, and I was like, oh, it's a mutt, okay, and so that's how it all started. But Carrie Lake, I do have to say, that's one author that I love that is not problematic. She has always stayed really good. She's always been very careful. I think Carrie Lake is probably my favorite, and not the politician Carrie Lake. God, ugh,
I,
not that
I,
woman.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look up both Carrie Lakes now just to see. You know.
Carrie Lake is she Nocturia, and then she's got a bunch of them. But the ones that I read were this vigilante series of hers or whatever. Because I really like to read contemporary. I don't really like to read. I like fantasy and I like sci-fi, but I want Star Trek sci-fi. Like
Yeah.
the closest I really get, like I like Tiffany Roberts books, and I like there's several sci-fi authors that I really like a
Yeah.
lot, but I need more than just like when I'm reading sci-fi, I want more than just a romance in the book. You know what I mean? Like I feel
Uh-huh.
like Tiffany Roberts gives me a little bit of action, and like she
Yeah.
always has like a really cool little plot going, and
Yeah.
like it's always like I really like her books. They give me really good escape. But I was really looking for Star Trek, and that's kind of why I was like, hey, I could write that. I could write a book that's like kind of like Star Trek
Yeah.
and has science in it, but I also wanted to do it in a way that, was that somebody like me could read it.
Yeah. Well, I have a book to recommend to you if you're I have a friend who's a sci-fi author. Her name is Shazara Brooks. I don't know if you've
Oh
seen
yeah, 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 yeah.
Stranger in the
Yes,
Pod.
I will. Yes, I that she's on my TBR.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Yes.
That looks so good. I heard that book is excellent.
Oh yes, yes. It is, and if you're into the Star Trek thing, that is up your alley.
Great.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I want. I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of kind of like the monster and sci-fi books, they're so fantasy like. There's so much fantasy in them. I feel like Tiffany Roberts gives me a really good like little bit of science in there, and like not like science. She doesn't include science. She includes tech. They have tech. They have
Hmm.
alien technology and all kinds of. Then like the storyline kind of gets into a little bit deeper into like the alien universe that they've created or whatever. But yeah, and that's kind of what maybe inspired me for sure
Yeah.
is those two.
Um, what advice would you give to people who are unpublished, or
That want to publish.
yeah.
Definitely get a good editor. Make sure you have a good editor that comes recommended from other people. Listen
Hmm.
to your editor. Listen to your editor. And then make sure you have a good cover
Yeah.
designer.
You're vetted, after you're done vetting your editor, listen.
Yeah, yeah. Get a good one, then listen. Um, but as far as the story goes, just write literally what you want. Don't do what everybody else wants. Like I
Right.
wrote what I wanted. I didn't write a typical sci-fi romance book at all. I went completely on a limb and made it my own and combined kind of like I kind of combined this how should I put it? I really liked the urban fantasies for a while, and I kind
Yeah.
of wanted to do more of a Star Trek feel plus urban fantasy type of feel, but apply it to sci-fi, where
Huh.
you have multiple different characters, a friend group. You have so like in Recitere, there ends up being like 4 different couples. So you have open door romance with 4 different couples in that book series. So it
Hmm.
might be 490,000 words or whatever the hell it is,
Hmm.
or I forget how many words that series is. But it's you're getting a lot of different romances. There's a male
Hmm.
male romance, there's a female female romance, there's a so you're getting sapphic and gay, and you're getting just and two, I think there's so two straight yeah, two straight romances, but one of them is kind of a poly situation.
Okay.
So there's I like
Yeah.
to expand in all kinds of different things, and just I tried to make it my own, but I would say make it your own. Make it your own. That's probably the best advice that I have.
Yeah.
And definitely get a good cover artist, because cover artists matter a lot.
Yeah, actually, and Samantha is getting a cover artist for Legacy of Lies, which is she hopes to put out this year.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah, and here I think she does magnificent covers, but she's,
No,
uh,
she does do really good cover. Wait, she does her own cover?
well, she has in the past, you know,
Oh, well, her covers are good. I
yeah,
thought they were pro.
yeah,
She
yeah,
does a great job.
oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, she wanted to take it up a notch with Legacy of Lies, so I'm looking forward to seeing what she has with that.
Oh, I'm so excited. Speaking of art, I just got one of the proofs for, or one of the final like sketches or whatever from the cover for Demisha. So I hire local artists because I want to eventually like buy the art from them or whatever. So they like
Hmm.
produce the art, and I just get the print rights or whatever to put it on my book. And then I eventually I'll go back whenever I have the funds or whatever, and I'm gonna actually purchase the full rights to those art pieces or whatever. But
Hmm.
all of the Recitere series, the Scorpion and what's on the second one?
Yeah, I
The
have it right here.
Wasp, and then yeah, the Scorpion and the Wasp, and then the third one has a what is it called? A centipede on it. Yeah.
Hmm.
And the third one has a centipede on it. So my
Yeah,
friend Zach painted
yeah,
those.
and
Those are
and and
paintables.
these sprayed and the spraying too.
Yay! Yeah. So my friend Zach Simpson, he actually has prints. If you
Oh,
That's his art right there. Oh,
that's
I'm not.
magnificent.
Yeah, so that's his art right there. And like I love his art. So I was like, you have to do my covers. So he did the covers, and then also he did the interior art for the chapter pages. So he did that too. And then I have another friend named Stephanie. She is doing the art for Demisha. That's going to be kind of like a portrait of a woman on the front, and then she's going to do this abstract kind of blood
Hmm.
all over it because it's vampires. So, and then that one. So I gotta tell y'all, Domitia has to come with a warning. I accidentally gave my sister nightmares.
Uh oh.
She's only on chapter 19, and she's like, dude, I have been having the most wicked nightmares, and like, all I want to do is go back to sleep, go back to the world, even though it's scary as hell. so, so she said she's been having horrible nightmares about the like awful bat creatures in that book. And she said like I think she's not slept for like 2 days now. So yeah, definitely watch out for that book, because that might be a little
Oh,
scary.
well,
I didn't think it was that bad,
that's
but apparently it is.
well. I think the more you say it's scary, the more I'm interested, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. So
It's really good. So
yeah.
it's one of the ones like well, you met Kathy. Demisha, when she was reading Demisha, she was wanting to like she was doing it on her laptop at work, but her laptop at work like it dies if you unplug it from the charger. So like
Hmm.
she had to like so she has a ton of crap that goes along with the computer, so it's basically like a desktop. And she was like tempted. She was like, "Dude, I'm tempted to like unplug all of my crap and take it home just so I can finish reading your book." Because she was reading it on that computer, and she's like, "I have to leave it." So so anyway, she told me that she can't wait. She cannot wait until it comes out edited, because she wants to reread it. She wants to read it again. And honestly, every single time I finish like reading that book or like editing it or going over anything, I get so lost in it, and like I just want to read my damn book again. I'm my own book. Who wants to read their own book?
Yeah,
I
I mean, after you've gone through it and edited it like umpteen times, that they say you get sick of it by the time it's done.
yeah, you usually get sick of it, but now I like every time I read it now, I'm just like, no, I like can't stop reading it. And I like want to read my whole book. So I feel like that's a good sign.
I would agree. So, um, just a reminder for everybody who's down there, if you want physical copies of the first two books, drop the blue heart down in the comments. And oh, Buffett's here. I see him crawling up here. He's looking for something. He's looking for attention. So, all right, well, we're gonna get into a couple of the fun questions, and then we're gonna start to wrap it up. So, and
Okay.
yeah, uh, this is Evie Black's favorite question, so I have to carry it forward. What's your favorite dinosaur?
Velociraptor.
Nice,
I put them in my books.
nice, yeah. I guess my favorite would have to be T Rex because my wife is nicknamed T Rex because she has short arms. Not literally like this, but she,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. So definitely velociraptors. I put them in my books or whatever. I put velociraptors in book 3. So I have a whole dinosaur world because I'm obsessed with dinosaurs and geology and stuff. So I had to have a dinosaur world where that never had an extinction event. So it's just this one giant forest basically with some ocean or whatever, and all of the cities are basically glass cities that sit on top of the forest. So they're basically like on stilts, and all of the big dinosaurs move the trees underneath the city, and like it's really cool.
Nice.
I cannot wait till this book comes out. I'm so excited.
I'm excited too. You're gonna have to let me know. Well, I'm sure you'll let everybody know when it's available for pre-order.
Oh yeah. Well, okay, you know how I am. I just like throw it out there. I don't warn anybody.
Oh,
I just kind of publish it and
and then
say
that's
there it
yeah,
is.
that's what I did with my first two. Well, because in fairness, now the first two I went through like a vanity publisher, and they just put it out there, and I didn't know it was out there until it was already out there. So it was like, hey, guess what? My
Well,
book's
okay,
out.
so I had so whenever I published book 2, I texted Brooke and I was like, Brooke, so I book 2 is out. It just went live, and she was like, "What? You just put it out there?" I was like, "Yeah, what?" She goes, "There it is."
Hey,
So ever since then, it's
why
been
deal
there
with
it is.
the stress of pre-orders and promotion and everything? It's just like, yeah,
And I'll just
it's a
throw
book.
it out
It's
there.
out there. I think I'm gonna try that.
It's
When I
so
finish
terrible.
with my
Like,
next book, just be like, hey, guess what? My book is out. Everybody's gonna be like, what the?
surprise.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Um, I just don't. I like dealing with pre-orders, dealing with literally anything. I'm like, no. I'm just gonna toss it out to the wolves and see what happens. And
Yeah.
honestly, that's what I did for my first book. That's why. Okay, so here's the deal. I know a lot of authors get very tied into like reviews and like review like percentage, not reviews specifically, but your star ratings and stuff like
Yes.
that, and like really wanting them to be high, and it really means a lot. That doesn't matter to me. If I if I pissed you off and you give me 1 star and you give me this big old rant, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I made you feel something.
Hey,
I still
somebody read your
succeeded.
book. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you read my book,
yeah.
and you might be angry and you might be pissed, but you felt something. I made you feel something. You might be mad. You might not like jail. You might not like Oz. You might not like the way I said something or did something in the book or whatever it was, but I made you feel something. And that's the whole point, I feel, of writing is, and that's, I think, why it's so political is because it does make you feel, and they don't
Yeah.
want you to feel.
Every book is political in some way. You just don't know it.
Every written word is political.
Yes,
The written word is a privilege for sure.
it is. Aside from writing, what's the most daring thing you've ever done?
Um, so I was a medical billing manager for a long time for a medical billing corporation that was like a billion dollar medical corporation. And um, they kept running these experiments. And this is right after I had taken experimental methods in college and I had done really well in that class. And there was this meeting with all of these like heads of the company, and little old me, analyst me, was sitting in the corner. And at the end of the presentation, um, I stood up and I said, "So I just want all of you to know that every single one of the statistics in that entire presentation was wrong." And I walked up to the board and I did the math right in front of them. And they all stood there stunned. And I said, "Whoever you hired to do this doesn't know how to do statistics, because I just took the class in college and this is how you do it." And I pulled it up
Huh.
and then I had it fact checked and I was right. And they got rid of the system that they had the whole meeting about. I hated the system. It was a system where you could request something be changed or edited or altered. It was like a need request or something system. And they weren't getting answered. The like customer service department was not getting the messages and doing them. They weren't actually like working the edits or whatever that they were supposed to work. And so I was like, the data showed that it did work. And I was like, my queue has like literally 20,000 waiting to be worked. There's 10,000 people in this place. We should be able to get these done in an hour. And they sit there all day, every day, like, and they just accumulate. So you're telling me that this system works and that this is math? No. So I pulled all the data and I reran everything. And I was like, no, your math is all wrong. You didn't even do any of it right. They like stopped at standard deviation or something. And I'm like, that's not how this works. So anyway, they all about shit a brick. And then I got a promotion.
Boy, that is. I don't know how to follow that. I was going to ask you what your favorite ice cream flavor is, but it kind of seems trivial after hearing that.
um, I like my favorite ice cream flavor is pralines and cream.
Nice. I'm a cookie dough person myself, or sometimes mint chocolate chip.
Yeah, I love pralines and cream because I'm a Texas girl.
Oh yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, I
Um,
talk like one.
I know.
God,
I I
I
I,
try so hard not to have such a bad accent, but every time I do a TikTok, I end up having a terrible accent. I'm like, God, I sound like cornbread.
I no. I mean, no. It's only certain times it comes out. Like in this whole conversation, I've been listening. It's only just little bits and pieces. It's
Well,
like,
it's because I'm blocking it out. If I didn't block it out, then I would talk like a hick all the time.
oh yeah,
So there
I
you go.
hear you. Now you talk like
Yeah.
Ricky Bobby's mother in Talladega Nights.
Yeah. Just wait until I have alcohol.
It's I don't think I have an accent, but every time I open my mouth, Sam says to me, "Oh, it's that New York coming out of you again." Like what? What
No, I
was?
can tell you definitely have a New York accent, I but
Yeah.
I don't have any room to talk. I talk like a hick. I'm terrible. Especially if I look, so if I've had any alcohol or if I've been hanging out with so my husband's grandpa, he was like one of my best friends, but he like never left the cattle ranch. And so, and same with my husband. My husband's never really left the cattle ranch. And so they definitely talk pretty country.
Yeah.
So I catch their accent. I didn't always have such a bad country accent, um, but ever since I've been married, I'm in a bull riding family. My husband's aunt is Tracy Hedeman, and like so they're all into bull riding and all kinds of stuff.
Gotcha.
Um, and
I'm
we
in,
live on a big cattle ranch. So my husband has a cow. It's his favorite cow that he feeds rotten banana, or not rotten, but old bananas to. Her name is Lurleen, and she will come screaming across the pasture to get a banana. It's great.
So, um, as a child, what did you think would be awesome about being an adult, but is not really awesome?
Being adult.
That's fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
because adults, you have responsibilities, you have to pay bills.
Yeah. I wanted to be an adult so bad, and now I'm like, no, take me back. I erase it all. I take it back.
Yeah, yeah. I'll
I don't
just
like it.
as long as I just get to stay up, past 11, I'm good. Actually, and nowadays sometimes I don't even want to stay up past 11.
Yeah, I know I'm tired.
Oh boy.
He's
Speaking
talking
of
about
which,
tired.
that's okay. We're almost done.
So, so my bedtime is 9 o'clock. It's like 8:40.
Oh no. Well, that's okay. We're gonna be finished in a few. Just one last
Okay.
one last thing, and then we'll start wrapping it up. If you were trapped in a foxhole, who is the one person you want with you?
My husband. He's crazy as shit. I would absolutely my husband. No, I mean he's seriously. So, like I said, he's a cattle rancher, and
Hmm.
like so when he goes to take the cows, he has to put them in like a big pen. Like so he herds them up and he puts them in a pen, and then he uses a whip, and he doesn't whip the cows. He just cracks the whip, and it makes the noise and it makes them run. And so he'll be cracking the whip above his head, and he runs on the top of the fence to herd them and get them into the trailer.
Runs on the top
So
of the
he's
fence.
in his fucking cowboy boots. He runs while he's using his whip, whip in the air. His cousin, okay, so I always ask him, I'm like, did your cousin help you? And he's like, Gentry? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I mean, I think he sits there and he has 911 dialed out on his phone. But, I think seriously, like, Gentry just sits there and he has his phone out and he's like, just watches Brandon. And he's like, are you okay? Are you going to be okay? Don't fall off. Don't get kicked by a cow. And like, so it'll get to the point where like a cow will get in the entryway of the trailer or whatever, and he can't get it all the way in. So he will swing like Tarzan from the top of the trailer and swing down and kick the cow by the butt and get it in the trailer. Like this man is like I don't know how to describe me. He's like Tarzan. He really is like Tarzan, and I don't know how else to say
Huh.
it. It's crazy sin. And he will like okay, so he gets bored, and you know the Beat Saber game.
The what
He
saber?
has weighted Beat Saber. It's on the VR headsets or whatever. He will play that for 2 hours straight with like 5 pound weights on his hands. And he will be at like high impact cardio. Or he'll run for like an hour and a half or something like that. I mean, I definitely want him with me. He's
Oh,
crazy. In fact, everybody we know personally, like in our personal life, they're like, dude, if the world ever went to shit, we're coming to your house. And
oh
I'm
yeah.
like, you better not fucking show up to my house. I ain't feeding you. But they all want to show up because my husband is like scary and has guns and will protect them. And I'm like, get your own.
Wow. It's I'm just fascinated. Like you have a story, for everything, and that's just
I really do. I really do.
you know
So I haven't even gotten started on the whole childhood thing. Like I got all kinds of stories about my
oh
childhood.
yeah. Well, we'll have to
We could be
do
here
that another
forever.
time. And we'll have to talk offline about that because I want to know everything. But for the time being, uh, this is your last chance if you're out there. If you want a copy of these two fabulous books, these hunka chunka books right here. The,
Now, I
the
don't have any more of the sprayed edges. I will
Okay,
just be sending them straight from Amazon. So
right.
I just will need you to put them in your Amazon wish list or like
Hmm.
whatever it is, and then give me the wish list, and then I can send them straight to you.
Gotcha. I gotcha. So and if you want in on that, it's the Blue Heart. So so we're just gonna before we find a winner, we're just can you just remind us all where we can find you online besides the Discord now?
Authorlaurenlogan.com. That has my links to everything. I've got a mailing list. That's super important. So I've just been trying to push that mailing list. I've got obviously I'm not really active on Facebook or Instagram because I'm trying to kind of avoid those.
Yeah.
I don't want to feed the billionaires. And then
Hmm.
but yeah, the problematic billionaires anyway.
Right.
I'm still on TikTok. In fact, I started a second account on TikTok that I'm going to be using for advertising and stuff. I'm going to have one as my business account, and then one is like so I can make the
Hmm.
TikTok videos because you can't use all like the sounds or something like that.
Right.
So, but I'm going to do, I'm going to try to do some cosplay and, some like whatever TikTok videos in Amelia cosplay. And then,
Mm.
I don't know if anybody that is watching right now, if anybody's even in here, but I'm going to do cosplay for the ball, for the Sinful Signings ball.
Oh.
Um, I'm going as Absalom the worm or the caterpillar.
Ooh, I can't wait to see that.
So I'm cosplaying. I'm cosplaying the caterpillar. Pillar. I already got myself a hookah. I got a little monocle, and then yeah, it's gonna be fun.
That's going to be fun. So aside from
Of course, if I had the option to be an insect, are you kidding? I'm picking the bug
right,
every time.
so aside from sinful, do you have any other events planned for this year?
No, not right now. I really want to go to Chaos, Booked in Chaos.
Right.
I want to go so bad. And Shelly, I hope will let me last minute if I am able to. I'm hoping.
Hmm.
I'm gonna like try to sneak in. Um, I don't know if she's gonna let me do that, but I'm gonna beg her like crazy at the last minute if I'm able to. I think I'm gonna be able to, but I don't. It's gonna be a little bit before I can like nail everything down. But
Gotcha.
I'm definitely gonna get on her waiting list for sure because I love her so much.
Mm.
Um, and I really want to go to Chaos so bad.
Oh yeah, I went last year, and I know this year is going to be like twice as big. You know, I'm kind of
Yeah.
sad that I can't make it this year, but I had a lot of fun last year. And just anything else you want us to know before we kind of wrap it up and call it a night?
Nope, that's it. And if nobody ends up wanting the books on this live or whatever, if you want to post it on your YouTube and still offer it there,
Hmm.
just wait for somebody to answer and I'll send them some
Yeah,
books.
yeah. Oh, we actually do have a winner. We have little Sam Wrights,
Awesome.
Samantha Selwood. So I'll make a little announcement
Nice.
in the chat, and you two can work it out. You know,
Awesome.
yes.
That sounds good.
So
Cool.
thank you, Sam, Samantha, and she'll get both of those books. Uh, Lauren, thank you very much for your time. It's
Yeah,
been
absolutely. Thank you so much.
yeah, you're it's been wonderful, and I don't know if I'll have this up tonight, but definitely it'll be up on YouTube sometime tomorrow. And
Yeah.
quickly, we just very quickly, next week there's no show because I am on vacation, so we'll be back in
Oh,
2
have
weeks.
fun.
Thank you. Yes, we'll be back here in 2 weeks, and uh, we are now booking into 2026. Um, if you want to get an interview, we have an interest form. Everything's in our link tree. You know, at Friday Night Writes, spelled out.
Yes, I'll
And
definitely go and fill it up. Yeah. Yeah.
the cover reveal happens tomorrow. So watch out for the cover
Awesome.
for the anthology "See Me as I Am," and that will come out July
Yes,
1st.
that's
And
fantastic.
yeah, it is fantastic. Yes, thank you. I'm excited, and I know a few people are excited too. So, but Lauren, thank you, and I know we'll talk again real soon. So, thank you
Yeah,
so
of
much,
course.
and have a wonderful night.
Okay, you too. Thank you.
Thank you.